know the semester's been going on for like a month and a half, but this is our first show back. We're really excited. We want to thank the 707 Hub. This is year 3.
I think so.
Which is amazing, question mark. But
Also for better or worse.
also for better or worse,
yeah.
but you all being here is a big deal, so thank you for coming. This is a live show, so we're really excited about it. But my name is Jim Love.
I'm Alan Halas.
And welcome to Hustling Sideways. So we are pumped to be here. We're going to introduce our guest, and that's how we do it. And transition to the century right there. So.
There we go. Today we are welcoming, first off, again, thank you to the 707 Hub. We're welcoming Marleigh Petras to Hustling Sideways. So Marleigh is in marketing and social media for Marcus Hotels by day. Then you were also involved in a lot of other things outside of that. One of them being the Milwaukee Dog Park project that is happening. So it's underneath the bridge in the 3rd Ward, basically on the other side of the Milwaukee River from the pickleball courts. So it's a brand new development that is going to open, I believe, later this year.
Details coming soon.
Oh,
Details coming soon.
that was a foreshadow. I like that.
It's going to open soon. I just can't give you an official date.
Okay.
But it sounded cooler when you went to the mic.
Marleigh, thank you so much for joining us here at Marquette and doing this. Giving that
Yeah, put it up.
Tell us a little bit about, before we get into Dog Park and all of the other things that you're doing, tell us a little bit about your background, where'd you grow up, how'd you get to Milwaukee?
Yeah. I'm originally born in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Go Pack Go. Sorry.
Well, the Chicago kids in the crowd, like
You split the room in half.
tough off season for ourselves.
Pack Go kids over here. Maybe outside. No, I was born in Green Bay. I lived 4.5 years in Salt Lake City, Utah. 4.5 years in Indianapolis, Indiana, and then I actually found my way back to Milwaukee in 2014. I went to college at Cardinal Church University, and I always joke that I actually don't have a college degree because the college is closed.
It is closed. All right.
Were you the last class, or one of the last classes?
No, but I can lie and say that it was.
No worries. Well, it's not there anymore, so
That's right.
no one's there to vouch it.
What were you involved in school, or like did you get into marketing right away?
No. So this is a funny story. I've actually told the story the past 2 days. I've been at a leadership conference for my full-time job, and I went to school for psychology and criminal justice. My first internship was a youth and family center on the south side of Milwaukee, and that's what I did on the weekends at night for I stayed overnight. That was very interesting, but I left that internship running their social media marketing, and from that point on what I did is I kept my degree, but I still pursued social media marketing for the rest of my collegiate career.
That's awesome.
What about social media marketing, like in that, maybe that role like stuff?
Yeah, so the whole reason, so I actually went to college for nursing, and I dropped out of nursing because I ran track full time, and my nursing degree basically didn't allow me to show up to practice every single day, and I love running. Till this day, I love running. So I actually dropped out of nursing and went into psychology so I could go to practice and run.
Okay. So it was just your schedule made you change major?
Yes, but the passion behind why I've always wanted to help people. So the switch from nursing to psychology made sense to me, which is why I wanted to do that. I want to understand people and why they make the decisions that they make, which is crazy that it led me to social media because it's all storytelling. It's, if you think about it, from that lens, you're sharing other people's stories and you're getting that message across, but instead of just between me telling my story now, we're going to share it on social media and it can reach more people. So once I figured that out, I just wanted to kind of take that and run with it.
Sure, I love that. So there's a lot happening there. There's running, there's psychology, there's social media.
Yeah.
The diagram doesn't really come together just yet. After working in that social agency, your first internship, what kind of brought you, I guess, closer to, I know that there's even more pit stops along the way, but what kind of brought you to Milwaukee for Marcus Hotels? Were there places in between there?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
Once I finished that internship, I immediately, so I had mentors throughout my college career. We had an internship program at Stritch, basically where you apply, they pay you $12 an hour, and you work that internship for the semester, the summer, etc. So what I did is I went straight to my mentor and I said, I want to do, for the rest of my internships, I want to do marketing, social media, and that's it. And so they basically gave me references, and then I took it upon myself and I built my own LinkedIn, and then I started figuring out like what I was interested in for social media, and I actually started reaching out to other people and building my network. So after that summer, I made it a goal to like build up my LinkedIn, and then I did it too hard, and then
You over-networked?
yeah, I over-networked, and then I was teaching other college students how to build up their LinkedIn and get internships as well and things that they love.
Describe over-networked.
I made a lot of connections, and I had a lot of internship opportunities because I found my passion. So I focused on social media and I just went for it. I just made a whole bunch of connections on LinkedIn. Like you can just do market research. You can go on Indeed and look up companies that are hiring, and then you can find out who's in charge of that position. You can just look it up on LinkedIn, and then I followed them.
That's awesome.
So you just knew everyone.
Yeah. And what were I know LinkedIn's like I use all the time. It's a pretty cool.
Well, LinkedIn blew up. Like when I was using it versus what it is now, completely different platform.
What made you? What were some of the ways that you stood out there, or you know, was it just reaching out to people? You know,
before when I was on LinkedIn, there was no video. Like it right now it operates kind of like Facebook does professionally. There was no video. Posting was minimal. You don't really share your stories or your struggles or anything like that. It was just the connecting part. Like it was almost like it was like sprouting into what it wanted to be.
Right.
It was like, I remember it was like basically like a giant resume, no content creation.
Yeah.
And you just, like you would ask people to like endorse you for, Jim's good at public speaking, let me click the thumbs up on that.
Yeah, right, that's what you asked before.
I also don't think during the time when TikTok was even a thing.
It wasn't.
So like, and that's
this is like the 1800s, folks. So like we're going back, you know, with electricity around. I think that was there.
Yeah, we just invented.
So it has evolved, and then a lot. Okay, so LinkedIn, I mean, is crucial to you. What's the first big adult job?
My first big adult job was out of college, and I worked for a startup. It's called Marleigh Petras. They're in Third Ward now.
Okay.
And from a startup standpoint, I've worked in startups, I've worked in agencies, corporate, nonprofits. The startup was honestly a great starting point for me because you learn so much. Like you're hired for a certain title, but like you're actually doing the job of like 12 people. You know, so like, and that honestly was perfect for me, and it also sprouted my entrepreneurship spirit, because that's kind of what led me into like building my whole business and everything.
How did you deal with like stress in an environment like that? I would imagine, I mean, wearing 12 hats and, you know, like, was that, did you have ways, or you just like, okay, I gotta decompress?
Running. Like, that's why I literally ran my whole life. I did track throughout my whole life. Running and drinking lots of coffee.
I honestly thought you were just gonna be like running and drinking.
Drinking
coffee, very important.
Well, I think it's important, like, I love that you answered that so fast, because like, you're gonna encounter stress, and you gotta find your way to do it, and running's a really good one, you know, but like, find your passion and do it as much as you can to come, like, almost strike a balance, because I love that, you're just like, that's what I did, and that's what I made happen.
Outlets.
All right, I'm gonna skip some steps. So the dog park, how does this kind of come to fruition? I'm assuming lifelong dog owner.
No. Or lover.
You go now.
Okay, so not a lifelong dog owner, but
technically yes. Like the dog I have now is my first personal dog. I've had family dogs.
Okay.
You've always had a dog in your vicinity.
Oh, always.
Yeah.
Okay.
And dogs. We'll get them out.
So what brought you to that project, or how do you remember kind of getting into the fold there? Or was it something that you created?
No, so the dog park project, so backtracking, I actually was on the Lake the Hone project.
Okay.
And so I ran the social media marketing from like straight out of college. I was on that team for about 3 years. Then I met Matt Dorner, who's one of the co-founders of the dog park project. And he kind of like, hey, come help me. And I was like, okay. So I left that project because we lit one side of the bridge, and then I left to another fundraising campaign, which is the Downtown Dog Park Project, and they needed marketing and social media help, which if you can't tell, that's my niche and something that I'm clearly passionate on. So I also love dogs. It's like all I'm doing is taking videos and photos of dogs at dog events, so like, yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
Seems like a natural fit.
100%.
So then do you kind of operate as, not as like a freelancer, but as your own business, separate from all these different projects that you're involved in?
Yeah, so then that's the other lead-in is when COVID hit, I was actually on a presidential campaign at the time, and I was running marketing for the entire state of Wisconsin. 2 weeks after the pandemic hit, 2,500 people were laid off from that campaign.
Okay.
So I was still on the phone, but that was freelance at the time.
Okay.
So I had nothing. So what I decided, I was living in Third Ward at the time, and I would go on these really long walks, and then I would somehow always find my way back to Stone Creek 88.9.
Mhm.
I don't know if you guys probably know what that is.
Mhm.
Stone Creek is my favorite coffee shop. I always get a vanilla bean latte, and for some reason, during that time, I always walked there.
You just
Yeah.
it just
Like, it became-
gravitated you there.
Yeah, well, it became so bad, like, they'd see me in the window, and then I'd walk in, and they'd already have it, like, they'd start making it.
Oh, that's a regular, yeah.
Eventually, that did close down because everything was closed down during COVID, and I was sitting outside of these steps, which is Ratique, which is the Goodwill of
Yeah.
Third Ward.
Right, right.
And I just remember it, like, it was just me and silence. And normally, Third Ward there's people everywhere, there's dogs everywhere, businesses were boarded up, there were signs saying they were closed, and I'm like, wouldn't it be cool if I actually knew what was open during this time? Like, how can we digitally, like, enhance this situation and, like, support people online? Social media is important, digital marketing is important, how can I change this? And support local MKE, like, came into my mind, it's so simple, it's literally self-explanatory.
Mhm.
So the social media person, he goes to Instagram, and I looked the handle up, and it wasn't taken.
Okay.
So I immediately reserved the handle, and I stood up and I walked home, and then I learned how to build websites. And then I also reserved it on Facebook, and then I bought the domain, and then I like completely like lost my mind, built a brand. It's still, if you scroll all the way down and support local Milwaukee, please don't. But if you do, you'll see like the original logo that I created because I was so excited. And
Now
it's
I'm
like,
gonna have to.
No,
Yeah,
please don't.
please all look,
The
yeah.
projector.
Yeah.
but it was like definitely a passion project, and everyone thought it was so crazy because I like told my family, told my friends, I'm like, this is gonna be a great idea, like it's so cool. And I would build lists organically, and I'd Google search what was open, and then I'd post those lists, which you can totally see like
Yeah.
if you scroll.
Yeah,
And from there, what I did is I just organically built it, and I followed like Visit Milwaukee and all these like popular other accounts. And then I saw who was following them, their interests, and then I followed them. Like I literally built it organically.
yeah.
And then what happens, it took off, and until this day, even if I don't post, it's still growing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I had no idea when it wasn't active.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I was somebody that followed it.
No,
at
I
that
know.
point.
It's
Yeah.
like when you're speaking or you give a presentation,
Yeah.
you're like, oh my god, I totally butchered that. Everyone's like, you did great. That's literally how it feels.
You know, I have two big takeaways from what you just said. So the first thing is you had an idea and you just did it. You know, I think a lot of people are like, how do I get started?
Yeah.
Just do it.
You
Like,
literally-
found the brand and you
Yes.
made it.
Yes. Again, I went to college for psychology and criminal justice. I don't know how to build a website. I do now. Because I just, when you are passionate about something and you really want to learn something, there's a way to do it, especially now. You literally go on YouTube, go on Google, find a mentor or someone else that can bring you through it. You can even get sort of, anything you really want to do, you can totally do it. It will take time, but you'll get there.
Yeah, and then the second thing is, like, when you said you told your family and friends and they were like,
Everyone thought I was
"You're
nuts.
Well, what did that, like, did that throw you off?
No, it
Did
didn't,
that
because
derail anything?
I was so happy. I'm like, this is great.
I'm
I
gonna
love
do
this
it.
idea. I'm gonna follow through.
Yeah.
And now.
I call that being positively relentless, right?
100%.
It's like, I want to do this thing, I'm going to go for it, like regardless of what anyone says. If you
Yeah.
feel it, you know, and if you believe in it, then you should do it.
100%.
And unless it's a horrible idea, in which case maybe you don't do that. But
And even then, you don't know,
It
you'll
was
find
fine.
out.
right.
I was like walking it.
But I think it's important. It's like, it would be really easy, like if my mom was like, don't do that, I'd be like, well, damn, maybe I shouldn't do that. But like, you're like, I'm gonna go do it and make it happen. And you have to have that level of relentlessness to go and do what you need to do. Like when I told people I wanted to go speak to schools, they were like, how are you gonna do that? And I'm like, I'm just going to.
Yeah.
So I did. And that's what I
Yeah, when I launched Breaking In English, which covers the Milwaukee music scene, people were like, cool, how does that make money?
did. Exactly.
And I didn't know.
Yeah.
At first, very honestly, I was just like, eventually, people are gonna wanna buy ads on it, and
Yeah.
and whatever.
Yeah.
I kind of learned how to build a website solo and figured out, what was your learning tool for you? Like, was it YouTube, were you?
YouTube, Google.
YouTube, Google.
Because YouTube would show you how to do it, and then I would kind of just practice. I'm very visual, so
Mhm.
I would go and do it myself, and then if I couldn't figure it out, I'd just Google it, and then give you, the step-by-step instructions, which sometimes don't work, and then I'd go back to YouTube, and I'd be frustrated, then I'd go get more coffee. That's this vicious cycle.
Rinse and repeat, and then go for a run and call
Yeah,
it a day.
literally,
That's it. Yeah, I think that's important. And so what was this, now getting into, I guess like kind of going back to like dog park wise, like what is the beginning of this? Like Matt pulls you aside and you start to talk about like, all right, like I want to maybe get into this. What was the origination and how did that start to build up? And did you see it becoming successful?
Oh, 100%, yeah, 100%. Well, first of all, where the park is located, there's dogs galore. Like you could take a walk down Third Ward, there's dog-friendly restaurants, bars, places, etc. Right? The only park is the cathedral, or not cathedral.
Catalano's
Yeah,
Square.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not fenced in.
Mhm.
Obviously, there's a beer garden, there's dogs everywhere, right? Then what really hit us is when Salty Paws opened and Riley's opened, because those are purely
Dog-based businesses.
100%.
Yeah.
In the business
Us,
model.
yeah.
100%. And so at that point, we kind of started partnering with businesses, and what I did is reserve the handle upon conversation, and we actually met over coffee. So like, if you want anything from me, it's coffee, and I'm like, so met over coffee, reserved the handle. We also partnered, so the Milwaukee Downtown Bid, the Milwaukee Public Market, Historic Third Ward Association, then Support Local Milwaukee, so my business as well. We're all kind of spearheading that, and I've worked with them in the past, so I was already in. We also worked with them for Light the Home and everything like that. So to be quite honest, it was pretty simple in decision making.
Yeah.
Like I'm so in.
So it started relationship-based.
100%.
Right, which is so critical and what you built up. Like, because I know it's probably hard to collaborate with all those folks, but
Yeah.
you had I'll call it a base of like, I know
Yeah.
these people, I know where it's at. Was there anyone in those organizations that really needed convincing, or was it pretty quick that like, you should get on board with this? And
100%. No, yeah, it was pretty close.
That's great.
Yeah.
So it seems like a byproduct of over-networking then.
100%.
By knowing so many people that when that time comes and being
Yeah.
like,
Mhm.
hey, I need to reach out to this person, and oh, I know so-and-so over there.
Yeah.
Because were you part of the group that was reaching out for donors and support?
Mhm.
Or,
So what we would do for Hone is, I mean, obviously what I spearheaded was the marketing, social media, like I own that. But I was still in the meetings where they were talking about potential donors, fundraising, et cetera, and how that kind of came into fruition. So I did learn a lot. Obviously, that wasn't what I was owning, but to be in that room with people that were leading that project, I also consider those people mentors at that time until this day. You just learn a lot by who you surround yourself,
Yeah.
So.
It's a good call out. I think like in any world, business world, side hustle world, like be in a room where you don't know a lot and listen. And like, you don't always have to be talking, just listen, take it in. I sponge all day. Like, I'm never in a million years going to be the smartest person in the room. So I was just like, let them talk, let them go. I take away something and I kind of add that to my repertoire.
Yeah, exactly.
Happens all the time. It never will stop.
Was there ever a point when you were networking with people, especially around this project, where you felt intimidated, like I don't know how to approach this person, or like standoffish about anything like that?
Nervous for sure, but I think that came as my confidence built in what I was doing. I definitely used to be super nervous, like me talking right now, being super calm, learned, was never like that. It just happens with like repetition. You kind of learn your story, you learn speaking to other people, you learn kind of the power behind that. There are moments where I had been in rooms of people that I like, oh my God, I totally saw you on social media, and I'm like,
I follow that person, but I don't. Is that moment of like, I follow that person, but they don't know
I know
I follow
everything
them?
about that.
or like I totally saw you in that business article, you're so cool, like that project is dope. Yeah, but
Now, you have a day job.
Yes.
How do you, because we talk to a lot of people that have a 9 to 5 or have something on the side. How do you balance all the things you're up to with having a career? And other than running, like what works for you?
Running and coffee.
Running and
Yes.
coffee.
I'm
That's
retired from that career. Now we're fun.
fair enough.
No, so my full-time job, I work for Marquette Hotels and Resorts. I'm the Milwaukee area social media manager. So Pfister, St. Kate, and Hilton, Milwaukee. I basically oversee their entire paid and organic social media strategy, content, etc. So anything you see, I've built, shot, created, etc. But the balance comes into that passion and that drive. I feel like a lot of people, it doesn't matter like how young you are, how old you are, you can always restart, you can always kind of figure your things out, but once you find what you're passionate about, it doesn't feel like work. My 9 to 5 is also super flexible, and especially the career path that I'm in is super flexible. I know, and I knew very early on in life that I can't sit still. This is probably the most I've sat down in one spot all day. And that's another reason, you just have to find a full-time job that also works with you. I'm never at my desk, I'm always talking, we call it yapping. I'm always yapping, and I'm always just shooting content, posting content. I'm working like in Club Lounge in Pfister, or I'm at Hilton in Miller Time, or I'm in the like hotel bar at St. Kate. Like there's never really a time or a place where, I mean, my team can find me, communication is super important. You can't just like do whatever you want. But there's a professionalism to it, and there's a really good balance, especially if you love what you do.
I love that. When do you shut off? And I'm asking this because I suck at this. Like I'm not good at.
I'm also terrible.
We talked about this in the past, and I find my moments. And to your point of not sitting still, everyone we talk to has some level like I need to get up. It's typically the ADHD related, and you can pan up on that one. But like has some level of like I want to do something.
Yeah.
But as humans, like we have to have a moment, and maybe it's literally on Christmas Day when like nothing's happening. But whenever that day is, like what does shutting off look like for you? Because it's subjective.
Yeah, so I have currently an 8-month-old puppy at home. His name is Theo. I got him from the Humane Society, and I, like my whole life, go, right? And then I get this puppy, and I'm like, I gotta go. You know, like I gotta
take care of this thing. Yeah,
I got somewhere to be.
Yeah, and then it became a thing where like he could come with me. You know, so one of my guilty pleasures is like drama shows. I don't know if you guys like watch Love Island USA or that keeps me out.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like Netflix, anything drama, like that helps me unwind. Like I'll put my phone down, which is crazy for me. I'll put my phone down, me and my puppy I'll take him to the park.
Yeah.
Like there is that balance where I enjoy running, we'll go on a walk, like there is balance. Balance is so important because there is burnout, like that's true. I feel like a lot of the videos that you see and a lot of the stories, it's like go, go, go. Like our culture is like that, and that's not reality. Like there's moments where when I was working my business for 2.5 years straight, I experienced the point where I was so burnt out, like every moment was work. So there was no divide, there was no separation. And then at that point, it's no longer a passion, it's just like a burden in a way.
Totally.
Right? It takes away everything that you love and that you've created.
Yeah.
There's definitely days where, and I will say this from both working and running a side hustle at the same time, there's definitely days where you go to bed and you're like, what did I do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like not in the sense of like,
Yeah.
not in the sense of like, what did I do for work?
Because you're
Sure, I
just maintaining.
accomplished a ton of things, right? But you go to bed and you sit there and you're like, I worked all damn
Yeah,
day
if you're wide awake and you're like, I gotta do this.
Oh yeah, no, I've
Did I do
totally,
that? Yeah.
I've totally woken up and been like,
Yeah.
this thing that is totally arbitrary and can be done whenever
I gotta do
needs
it.
to get done because it's in my brain and now I'm thinking.
I write stuff down, like my phone notes, I'm walking my dog in
Yeah.
the morning and I'm like, I gotta email this person, like I'm always thinking.
100%.
Or shower thoughts, that's
Yeah.
like, you know, however long, like 10-minute show, I'm like,
Yep.
there we go. But the one word I use a lot is harmony. Like I think it's work-life balance when we're connected at all times is hard to pull off. If it's in harmony and they're harmonious with each other, where you're like, okay, every now and then to do more than you need to, one night you don't do a lot. Like if you find a harmony and it works for you, that's what I try to pull off. Because like my career is one where I'm never really off necessarily. I'm in sales and kind of have to be, but I have a harmony where like, you know, one night like I'm totally out, and then one night like, okay, yeah, I'll go in a couple hours.
100%.
Yeah.
And outlets.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
one of my guilty pleasures is wiffle ball.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Had no idea what that was like a couple
You
months
play
ago.
over at like Broken Bat
I sure
Brewery?
do.
Don't call it guilty.
By the way,
Overall,
we just had finals and we were first in the league and we lost finals by 1. And now we're second overall. It's very
Everyone
sensitive.
go, "Aw."
It just happened 2 days ago. It's so raw.
We had the owner of Broken Bat is Marquette
Yeah,
alumni as well,
symbolic, he's
and
on the show.
we've had him on Hustling Sideways.
Really?
He came up with Broken Bat while he was in the bathroom at his former job, like.
Scribbling
That's
on
that's what he was scribbling on drafts. So where we gotta come up with your side hustle that becomes your career.
Yeah, but outlets like, it doesn't have to be wall, okay, it could be like pickleball, I mean, whatever. It's just important to incorporate like fun, right? Like something that doesn't revolve around work.
Yeah.
You need that balance, like leave work at work and your personal life, like take care of you. There has to be balance.
I will say the big secret for me is you can schedule Gmails and email stuff to go out.
Yeah.
So like when I do have that crazy thought at like 5 in the morning and
Yeah.
no one's up,
Schedule.
I'm not going to be the person that's going to send that email at 5 in the morning because that looks
Yeah.
insane.
Uh-huh.
But if it's conveniently scheduled to go at like
Yeah.
8:02 in the morning.
Dang, that person's up at a normal hour. Yeah.
I
But
will
then it
say-
also gives you that rest of the
I
morning
agree.
to have your moment where if I need to go walk my dog, or if I need to go, you know, work out or whatever, like I can do that because like, yeah, stuff is still happening in the background, but I'm not constantly thinking like, oh God, I have to wait until this point to send this out to do this thing.
I will also say, in college, I was running full-time. I had 2 part-time jobs, one on campus, one off, and then I was also doing an internship. The reason being is because I had found early on what I loved to do, and then I just wanted to keep doing it, right? Like, I love running, I love social media. I also knew that I didn't also just want to work all the time. I also wanted to have fun, which is why I worked all the time. But it's just important to, like, again, like when you're young, I'm still this way, but in college I was just constantly like, my head was spinning. I was always trying to figure out, like, of course I had fun, it's very important, right? Like time flies. It's
Yeah.
important to have fun, it's important to live in the moment, but also think about like your longevity in that. Like where do you want to go, who do you want to surround yourself around, and who do you want to become ultimately, right? Like you
Yeah.
can't go backwards, you can only go forward, so like, just think about that as well.
I will say one thing that I've noticed in recent years too with running a side hustle is eventually I hit a point where I was like, okay, how many years am I gonna do? How many years am I gonna work till, you know, the end of the night and go to bed and feel terrible and be like, okay, I'm gonna wake up and do it again.
Yeah.
Like, for me, part of my business is writing about concerts, going to concerts, throwing them. Am I gonna be standing in the back of Cactus Club at, you know, 60 years old, putting a band on stage? You know, so like figuring out a balance.
I'm not sure how long I'm gonna be relevant for high school students. I'm 34.
Yeah.
You know, like at some point they're gonna be like, this guy's old.
You know, like you evolve.
Yeah, I
from
know.
there.
You all feel that way over there.
Not to get too dark, but
Yeah.
that's when you evolve what your
Now,
side
I
hustle
will
is.
say, I was like the fun older brother for like all my 20s for students, and now I'm totally the fun uncle. I can just feel it out. I've switched to being like, you could be like 20 years older, and that's not a brother anymore.
Totally different
I made that
energy.
switch recently, and I'm okay with it, because I'm actually an uncle in real life, and
Oh, there
I
you
think
go.
the students I am, so fun uncle is something I can try.
I do want to ask a couple more things about the dog park
Yeah.
before we wrap up. Is what year did that actually kind of conceive, like the whole project kind of come about?
Yeah.
Because obviously it's not an overnight thing, even though you would think
No.
a dog park, just put a fence up, call it a day,
Yeah,
right?
those dogs in.
Yeah, well, the conversation, the idea came up a while ago, but we started marketing it maybe a couple years ago,
Mhm.
so it's still relatively new. But again, Dorner and then Paul with the Marquette, so they spearheaded it. They were in conversations. They obviously like band everyone together, and then came to me and they said, hey, we need help talking about it and putting it in front of other people. So it's about 2-3 years in now.
Mhm.
Great. Was there like a one point of like a shift of like, okay, I hope people are getting this, and then all of a sudden like they're in? Like, did it ever have a moment maybe where it felt more real than any other time?
Yeah, so this is something that not just Light the Home, like I went through with Light the Home, but even now it's really hard to get people in on an idea when it's doesn't exist yet.
100%.
Right,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like the bridge lights, it's like we had all these renderings done, and it's so cool now when you see it, right? It's so dope. You can partner with music, you can bounce to music, it's cool, right?
Mhm.
But like trying to explain that to somebody before they even see it,
It's hard.
it's
Yeah.
so hard. So like with the dog park, it's like, check this out, we're gonna like roll out turf and put a fence up, like your dog's gonna love it. And everyone's like, okay, you know?
But yeah, why do it? I'm
Yeah.
sure, and like there's a good portion of people that the home bridge, forever, since it's been around their whole lives, has
Yes.
never been lit up, and that's been fine.
100%. But
Or
once
there's-
that bridge was lit, then you saw all these donations come in.
Right.
You saw all these people like following on social media, wanting to talk about it, tagging us, etc. Like everything that we were looking for, it happened, right?
Yeah.
And I feel the same thing with the dog park. We have our supporters, we have people that are buying in on the idea because they love their dogs, they love what it brings to the community. Like we do have, you always have like that group of people that are gonna settle in on that idea,
Yeah.
right? But then once that dog park is built and it opens, like when we had our grand opening party, that's not happening, but you know, the
Yeah, when it
groundbreaking.
does happen, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant, the groundbreaking. It was exciting because people were on site, there was vendors, there were dogs, like people were talking, there was shoveling dirt, you know, that's exciting.
It feels real.
It feels real, right? You're in the space. So once that park opens up and we do the actual groundbreaking, it's gonna get people excited, and that's when we're gonna see people kind of like actually buy in on the idea.
Yeah, not having something concrete is always like.
100%.
Yeah. Did you have like
Well,
pictures of?
Well, it's not concrete, it's
Yeah, like
astroturf.
this could be you, yeah,
Right. We
exactly.
should just ignore that. Good astroturf joke, man. Anyway, carry on.
Well, thank you for doing this.
Yeah.
And, I mean, if there was something you could tell college you, like one
As you're
thing.
like nursing the psychology and thinking like, well, yeah, what is that thing that you would want to know?
And that's, I should have gave you that one ahead of time, but.
No.
Yeah, let's pretend like we did. So like, before the show, we're gonna tell you.
Yeah, if I could tell
college.
college me something, because in college, I knew that I wanted to be social media. I had no idea I was gonna create a business. I had no idea I was gonna work for one of the dopest businesses or companies in the city. I had no idea I was gonna do travel leisure, but if I could tell myself something, it's just trust your instincts, trust your gut, and just keep on doing what you're doing, because you're gonna go so far and you're gonna be just fine. I would just give myself reassurance in the fact that I know what I'm doing.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
If people want to follow you or find you, where's the best place to connect with you? And I'm sure it's LinkedIn. Is it LinkedIn?
No.
Okay.
I would say follow Support Local Milwaukee because it's fun and it's like my child.
And
It's my
scroll
dog.
down when you get in the,
And scroll all the way down.
yeah. Really great.
Scroll all the way down to see that.
Please don't. I'm gonna go delete it.
So support
Archive,
local.
actually archive.
Archive, yeah, there you go.
So I can still go back.
That's right.
So support local MK.
Yeah.
There we go.
And LinkedIn.
And LinkedIn. There we go. Well, thank you so much for doing this. We are the Hustling Sideways podcast. So if it's your first time checking us out, we are wherever you get your podcasts. We are also on YouTube. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Yeah.
One more thing. Okay, March 15th, if you're a Hockey's fan, the dog park is partnering with the Admirals, and we have human tickets and dog tickets
I'll bring the dog.
for sale.
Yeah.
Okay,
Can I
so you can actually
We could try to
dog,
smuggle you.
D-A-W-G.
Carry, oh, D-A-W-G, nice.
We'll try to smuggle you in with a dog ticket.
Carry on.
But March 15th, we have tickets for sale, link in bio. That sounds so official. But we would love for you to join us or just share it, tell everyone, and go Admirals, we just won, so.
There we go. Okay.
All right, I'm done.
That's a show.
And we're everywhere else too. So
Yeah,
there we go.
go find us,
And
fellas.
Jim.
Yes, keep on hustling.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.